Within each man and woman lays the most powerful wealth creation tool on the planet. Yet for most, this incredible wealth builder rests dormant and undiscovered. It's been said that more gold has come from the mind of men than has ever been dug from the crust of the earth. Welcome to Wealth Sense, the only program designed and equipped to awaken your gold mind and unleash for you the mysteries of true riches and wealth.
Hello there, I'm Philip Judge, and thanks for joining me from our international headquarters of the company Unique. Have you ever thought about that at the base or the core of today's vastly complex and highly interconnected, sophisticated economies lies one very simple thing that makes it all work? It's in fact incredible to me to realise that people will use this simple thing every day but have no understanding as to what it is. Even more so, in fact, is the fact that economists spend their entire lives studying and researching it, and yet you put a group of economists together in a room and none of them will agree to what it is, how its elements are, and how it should be created and used. More so, I think, is the fact that most people will pursue it and work in some cases incredibly hard for it their entire lives, but have no understanding about how deeply and profoundly it can shape their lives and, in fact, even shape their futures. You've joined me for what's going to be a 7-part series into this simple thing. Do you know what it is yet? Let me tell you, if you haven't guessed already, I'm talking about a thing called money. So in this 7-part series, what I'm going to try to do is illuminate for you what money truly is, what it should be representing, what its elements are, how it should be used, and then we're going to look at a life cycle or a cycle of money that's existed throughout all of history. From that, we're going to draw some really very important conclusions for us living today on planet Earth. We're going to identify where we are in the cycle of money itself. We're going to learn some of the lessons from history by looking at this cycle, and then from there we're going to lay down some principles for us to be able to face the days ahead. So join me now in this 7-part series into the life cycle of money. So let's go to the whiteboard now and examine in detail each one of these 7 steps in the life cycle of money. It's the same 7 steps that I said earlier has always existed in this life cycle. The first one is that a free market emerges. So what I want to do now is quickly explain to you what a free market is and what are the elements of the free market itself. So let's take a hypothetical scenario that a group of people move to a new land, or maybe it's the people that are growing back into an area or a civilization or a region where there was a past economic collapse. Straight away, people start applying their labour to the earth, or what we call the resources that is hosted by the earth itself. I want to make a very important point here, and that's this, that all wealth is produced as a result of men and women applying their labour to natural resources. All wealth throughout all of history has always come about through the application of our labour to the natural resources that already exist in planet Earth itself. So what happens is people come into this new area and they start applying their labour to natural resources. For example, one man may enjoy raising beef cattle, and he applies his labour to putting together a herd of cattle and then looking after the cattle and raising the young calves and putting together a good strong herd of cattle themselves. Another man prefers to till the land, and he becomes a gardener and he'll produce fruits and vegetables, for example, or maybe he produces grain. Another man may be a beekeeper, and yet a fourth person starts applying their labour to timber. In other words, they enjoy being a lumberman and they become very good at their skill or their art, their craft. And so what he does is he fells trees and then he planes that wood into pieces of timber, which of course is very, very valuable. All of these things, the cattle, the fruit and vegetables, the grain, the honey from the bees, or the timber itself, becomes so valuable because It's the result, or it's the production, if you want to use that word, as a result of the labour of men and women being applied to the natural resources. So that's what this free market is all about. Now think about this element of it. Naturally, a trading market will automatically come together because you see, the man who produces the timber is not producing food, and of course he's going to be hungry. Meanwhile, the gardener that makes the fruits and vegetables needs to build a home to put his family in, and he needs timber for that. So straight away there's this element of the necessity for man and women to trade. This is actually called a thing called the division of labour. Division of labour simply means that I enjoy one form of putting my labour towards the natural resources around me, while the next man prefers putting his labour into something else. But all of us are producing wealth, not only for us as individuals, but in fact for the entire society that is beginning to emerge. The harder we work as a community, the greater the wealth that is being produced within this free market economy itself. So what we've got now here is the developing of wealth within the community that is being traded one with another as we produce, or I should say as we trade the results of our labour, my production, I trade with the next person to sell him what I've produced and to buy something of which he's produced. This is in fact called a barter of exchange economy. In other words, what we're doing is we're bartering for the exchanging of the goods and services that represents the wealth of the free market itself. So again, number one in this 7-step monetary cycle is that a free market has naturally emerged as people have gone about and applied their labour to the natural resources that planet Earth so generously has given us.